Hi everyone. Alright, happiest now whenever you find this. I hope you're doing good. If you're new to this space, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. If you are finding this in September, this is a little later than usual. I had to go on a journey and handle some things. So thank you for being patient. And yes, this month, this time frame, we'll be looking at all the signs. I thought it would be nice to do something collective. I feel like we haven't done that in a while. Instead of being so separated and these little labels, it's having us all be in the same space. There are still rules and sections to things, right? But this time's a little bit different. We're going to choose one card, and then I have one album, like a vinyl, that you can may be relevant. And we're going to start with Virgo and work through the mutable signs, and then go to cardinal and then fixed. In relation to collective notes, I guess it seems to be, I kept seeing the 5th house, so looking at your 5th house, if you know what that means, could be very helpful. It's like hawk, crow. Jupiter, I've also been seeing Jupiter really clearly in the sky, and Saturn's been really strong. The moon was in Capricorn recently. They're really tight. I also wrote preparing for seasonal shifts, and a list of to-dos could be very helpful, especially in this. Hi, Hawk. I haven't seen one since I left. It's nice to hear them. Okay, so Virgo, let's, I'm going to write down the timestamp so it's a little easier. We'll start at 2:10. Okay, Virgo, your album is Basie's Basement by Count Basie. I don't know if you can, I can't see what I'm doing, so there we go. Count Basie, it's fabulous. It's Count Basie and his orchestra featuring Jimmy Rushing. Hey Pretty Baby, 7th Avenue Express, Mr. Robert's Roost, Walking Slowly Behind You, Basie's Basement, and A Brand New Wagon. Those are the songs. But maybe just looking into Count Basie, maybe listening to that could be helpful. Let's see what your card is, Virgo. Okay, so this is actually a deck of cards that I made, but I haven't finished the process, so I'm not going to show you yet. I'll let you know when they're done and ready. Oh, cool, Virgo. So, okay, let me see. So this has to do with home. You may have to look at something from a different point of view, or something about the secondary. Like there's primary and then secondary, then tertiary, right? I feel like if the primary is handled, or you know what it is, maybe this is about, just a second. It's a very complex, I want to show it to you, but okay, so something's a little bit off, right? Something's a little bit off, you can tell. You look at it, you're like, okay, wait, it usually goes this way, but it's going that way. So looking at something perhaps in a creative sense, again, secondary, it's like, all right, well, if you usually go about it this way, what is your secondary response? Or what is your secondary, what would be an alternative to how you could do that, you know? If you usually do it alone, could you do it with someone else? If you're usually doing it with someone else, could you do it alone? Like, if you are confused about anything, I feel like that's not the case, though, is it? No, I put away all the extra cards so that we could keep it simple, right? It's like really focusing on just the one thing. Okay, this is all we have. how do we view this, right? What do we do with this? This is a positive card, though. It's a card of success. It's a card of creativity. It does entail hard work, though. And then it's kind of figuring out, like, is that the right way to go? And I feel like you have a 4-month process, so that's kind of, when is that? Now until the new year, right? I guess this is now sort of to the end of the year, or whenever you find this again, like a 4-month process. This could also have something to do with Aries. That's your inconjunct. That could be helpful. And I also see Capricorn here. Okay. So I'm going to start with Sagittarius. Let's do Sagittarius. Okay, so Sagittarius, your album is entitled The Sea. Can you see that? It's by Anita Keir and Rod McEwen. It's composed by Anita and written by Rod. But isn't that a beautiful image? I can't see what I'm doing. The sea, so maybe something with Pisces, I suppose. Or your 12th house. Here are your songs. My friend, the sea. While drifting. Gifts from the sea. The time of noon. Afternoon shadows. Do you like the rain? The days of dancing. Pushing the clouds away. Is song 1, side 2, B-side. They met in December too. Interesting. Okay. So maybe this there's something about this album, Sagittarius. Let's see. Oh, nice. Okay. So there's a surprise. There's some kind of surprise. See, this is where I feel like we need a little bit more information, but the intention here was that we have to work with what we have. So, you want to try to find the humor in something. Maybe things have been really serious lately. There could be a little bit of where maybe two things are going at different speeds, or like two things are, I'm seeing like a DJ, you know, where you have two albums going, and the point of that is a transition from one to the other smoothly, you know, and back to it without it sounding too scratchy or too frictional, right? And to know, like, again, it's like a double dutch. Again, there's these 2 points, and you're trying to find how to get in the middle. It's possible, but I guess this takes practice. I do feel like you need to laugh about something, or what is it that you find funny? Maybe that could be it, where like something could turn you off a little bit, like somebody finds something funny and you don't, or vice versa. Who is it that does make you laugh? Who is it that, right, like there's two people here too. There's Anita. There's Ed. Oh no, Ed took the photo, sorry, Rod. 1963. I feel like I want to read this to you. It says, I wanted to write this album for a long time. It seems like always. I remember trying several years ago, then abandoning it when something else came up. The words here are the ones I have lived for the past several weeks. I saw the word years, and they remain for me important. I don't believe a man can write about the sea and not include himself. Much of me is here, and I have used the sea as a platform to speak about the times and the seasons and people's relationships to one another. Most of all, I've used the sea to write about love. Psychologists equate man's love for the sea with mother's love. No wonder so many suntanned young men and women look out. Oh, I'll just read this. Look out for magazines and television selling beer and cigarettes from docks and sailboats. And then it talks about last year in December. So maybe there's a habit change too, or something where there's a need to find comfort. Like settling in, you know, kind of bringing your boat to shore, right? This is the opposite. When I'm recording this is Virgo season, so this is getting off the boat. It's the lighthouse showing you where to not hit the rocks so you can bring your boat into shore and be solid, right? Feel solid on the ground. So if you've been on any journeys lately, I guess it's good to know that you're not alone in that. No matter where you go. Okay? Alright, we're going to do 12-12 Pisces. That's suiting. Okay, Pisces. Hi, Pisces. Okay, so you received... So everyone, in case you jumped ahead, everyone's receiving an album and a card. I changed the camera around. I just wanted to do something different. So you received... Can you see this? How to communicate your ideas. How to communicate your ideas. I was very excited to find this album. It says, solutions to everyday human relations, particularly with problems, if you have any problems in busyness. Maybe for some of you this is keeping steady, right? I find the word business very interesting. It's busyness. So how you're using your time But let's see your songs, if you will. Now hear this. You can make the boss listen. How to say no when you have to. How to say a few words. Writing skills, cut waste, right? Being efficient. Trim your writing chores. Getting your ideas across and making yourself understood. This album is very interesting too. It says the bands of this recording are locked, quote unquote, i.e. they are designed for repeating and selective listening. It is necessary to lift the tone arm manually to select the desired band. So you can only do one thing at a time with this, okay? Only one thing at a time, and it's meant to learn that, and then you move along, right? You can't become, move to yellow belt until you work through white belt, right? You got to move through the stages, and I suppose how you do is practicing your communication and your ideas. I would also say I'm seeing this as, we talked a lot about writing in here. I don't know if some of you are writers or if there's something in a creative sense to help you be more successful with the people in your life and also however you're busying yourself. Let's see your card. Okay. So, what do you do when you're frustrated? like at the tail end of your frustration, right? Something's, it's no longer happening, but when you think about it, it still bothers you. That kind of thing. Maybe this is, for some of you, something you could write about or something you need to communicate about. I just saw someone like in a counseling session. Maybe that could be helpful. There is something that's already gone by, that's something that's already happened, right? So you no longer have to be so protective of something right now either. It's almost like the threat, if you feel threatened or what have you, it's passing. It's not that big a deal. Okay, how to say no when you have to. Let's read. It has a little blurb with this. It says, this deals with the difficult technique of being positive while being negative. How to prepare rejection for the sensitive. How to keep hopes reasonable. How to promise a decision. How to consider proposals seriously and accept responsibility for your answer or response, right? Interesting. Let's see if I see anything else. Lots of shades of brown. Maybe pay attention to a bird if you see birds in a tree, or it's almost like I'm seeing like birds way up high in the tree, and then sort of animals that just touch the ground. I guess this is kind of I'm seeing like Aquarius, Scorpio sort of energy. I'm also seeing the holly tree, which is very protective. Oh, please watch. Virgo will give you a message too. Okay, they had a number 4. Okay, Gemini. So your album, you have an album and a card. Your album is Stethoscopic Heart Records by George D. Gleckler, M.D. So it's a medical record. This one's funny. You have to flip it to see it right on the back. So this is a very interesting album. The purpose of this album, you're actually meant to use the stethoscope when you listen to it. Like you put it on, you put your stethoscope on, and then you listen really closely to the speaker, to the sound. It suggests that one should sit comfortably in their chair, hold the chess piece in your hand, and your earpiece in place. Then start the record, close your eyes, and listen. Part of the reason why it says, do not try to listen for too long a time. It is advisable not to lift the needle until the band is finished, okay? If an illustration is to be repeated, play from the beginning. Part of the reason that it wants you to do this is so that it's meant to teach one how to recognize really subtle differences between things, because no matter what a book teaches you, or I don't know, someone talking, a teacher talking to you about it, or what have you, it's the experience of you and whatever you're connecting to, and again, picking up on these little nuances so you can figure out, like, okay, that's off. Nope, that doesn't sound normal. And what does that off feeling actually entail, because there's many different, right, levels to this. Let's see, this is also Leo, right? I guess this could be anxiety for some of you, too, but let's see your card. Okay, so for some of you, this has to do with work. This could also have to do with you as a person, and maybe some of you want to focus on heart health, building up, doing some sort of cardio. It helps you feel stronger, right? Gives stamina, but you want to make sure, I keep seeing that part where it says to, if you want to repeat something, you wait till it's all the way done, and pause, figure out what just happened there, how do you feel about it, and then if you want to, start from the beginning and see if you have the same response, right? I could see for some of you this is about trying something that you've done before, but slowly, and probably overcoming some kind of anxiety to a certain extent, realizing that you are, okay, if you've done a lot of work up until this point, I guess you're meant to step into the next space to move up. Virgo has a message for you. I would say Pisces too, or those two in your map could be something that you'd want, that axis would be something you may want to focus on. I also see your 10th house. First 10th. So yours just became astrological. Interesting. You want to make sure too that it's not like I'm on this side, you're on that side, like making a wall, although perhaps overcoming something, if there is an uncomfortability, it could be setting some kind of boundary, right? Maybe you just want to pay attention to when you're hanging out with people, or in certain situations, like when you're there, how do you feel? Like when you leave, when the band is done, right? And you step away, how do you feel? Pay attention really to your heart too. I guess this would also be speaking from your heart would be good versus your head. Do you know what I mean? But also understanding that personal and personal, professional, not having those overlapping. This is Cancer, Capricorn. Fascinating how astrological yours just became. Something about Berlin too. Okay, Libra. Let's see what's your album? Your album, you have an album and a card. Ooh, nice. So you got a session with Jerry Lee Lewis and the Playboys. This is a great album. He's very inspired by his father, Gary Lewis. Okay, let's read your songs. You have Count Me In, Travelin' Man, Concrete and Clay, Walk Right Back, For Your Love, Save Your Heart for Me. That's the A side. Something about a diamond ring too. Maybe someone's wondering, like, if they measure up, or, like, I feel like a friend or somebody you know could be very helpful in pointing something out. I guess this could also be you to them, like, hey, like, see that over there? And I do see socializing with this, too. Let's see your card, Libra. Aw. This is kind of, alright, this is about close connections here. Maybe something with the letter D. Is someone colorblind too? When's the last time you received flowers? When's the last time you blew bubbles? Okay, so there's something that some people can see things and some people can't, right? But it's not exactly so distinctive that it's entirely obvious to everyone. Good girl. Keep going back to that concrete and clay. Maybe you want to think about that and see what you, like, do you create something with this? Can you see something that's made out of that? What's around you that's concrete? What's around that's clay? Oh, see, I want one more card, but we're working simply with what we have. Okay, something's a little bit off here with you too, right? Maybe someone, okay, so there's two people, and one person feels more strongly about something than the other person does. There's like more space with one side. There is something about a rose, too. Just a second. Well, the first song on the B-side, or the second song on the B-side, is without a word of warning. So maybe something comes on quick, and maybe some of you could meet a new person too, but like a new friend, something like that, or something shifts again into a new space. It's like a different perspective. I mean, I suppose you could be shifting away, but this feels more together. Two parts of something are coming closer together, but it's sort of like, who talked about that? Sagittarius. It's like a how to combine it. So I would just take your time, see the positive in it, right? And try not to relate this present moment to the past too much, right? Count Me In is one of the songs. It's like, hey Libra, do you want to be a part of this? Yeah, count me in. Maybe it would be really good to be social. You could meet some new people if you do that. Like get out there, spend time with people. Try not to be shy, okay? And even if you are shy, be like, I'm a little shy. Just be honest about your feelings, I guess, Libra. Let's do 2855. We'll do Capricorn. Let's see your album, Capricorn. Ooh, I'm so excited. I haven't listened to this one yet. It's new. So we have Shadowfax, Watercourse Way. So this was originally recorded in 1975 and then was redid in 1985. Originally recorded in 75, it was put out in 76. So there's a year-long process here of getting something just right to be able to put it out to the public, right? To share and be like, okay, this is what I've created. I'm here now. I want to share this with you, right? Oh, so there's these different years, 75, 76, so there's a year-long process. Then it's 82 to 85, which is a 3-year process. The songs here are The Shape of a Word, Linear Dance. I don't know how to say that word, so we're going to go along. Book of Hours. I'm excited to listen to that one. 6 minutes and 29 seconds. Watercourse Way, and then Song for My Brother. Oh, someone plays the boo bams and the cowbell. Capricorn. Isn't this beautiful, though? Look at those autumn. Can you see the autumn leaves? Kind of seems like granite. It's autumn. This is instrumental too, right? There's no words on here. It's just sounds that are creating the experience, right? Let's see your card. There's something fluttering from behind, or something that's sort of pushing you from behind. It's like, go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, we talked about this, remember? You were meant to move ahead, was it 2 steps? Right? You were preparing yourself for success. You were preparing yourself for moving forward into something bigger. Or into, at very least, into a new space because of the healing that you've done, or because of the forward momentum, the changing of mentalities, right? Maybe even some karma kinds of things, transforming. So there are different pitches, right? There's high, middle, and low. Shadowfax water course. Well, water only flows one way, right? So I guess you really can't turn around or try to stay where you are exactly. Like, if there's been any stagnancy, things are going to move forward, okay? If you're already in the process of moving forward, you can feel that, again, that flutter behind you, or that thing that has, helped you to get to the next place, or where you are, or where you want to be. Then that's already, I see, happening. But I guess depending on where you look, like your perspective, or what you're where you are focusing is where you're going to go. Like the direction, okay? Now, this isn't a haul and ass kind of way, though. This is real mellow, right? I bet so after fall comes winter. Winter has snow. When the snow melts and spring comes, the water rushes faster. So I guess between now and next spring, there's something that's sort of steady. Now, I suppose for some, depending on what your water is, that could feel a little bit frozen. So I guess in that sense, if you know that that's where it's going to be, or that's how you naturally respond in this seasonal time, you want to make sure you get out of the water and you have yourself a comfortable place to be able to be until that water starts moving again. You're going to have to focus. Instead of focusing on this, you're going to have to move yourself into a new space, focus on that. Then things will be smoother in the future. I do see that you also have help here. You're not alone, okay? How do you feel about change right now, too? Or where you're going is a good question. I want to take a second before we get into Aries. We'll do 35. Aries. Let's see, yeah, what's your album? Chilling, thrilling sounds of the haunted house. Dun, dun. Okay, so these are all spooky. They're all spooky sounds. Here lies the most terrific collection of recorded sounds. So maybe Halloween is important, that time frame. So here are there's a lot of songs on here, so let's just look at it. We'll name off a few. The Haunted House, The Very Long Fuse, The Dogs, Your Pet Cat, Shipwreck, The Unsafe Bridge, Birds, Thunder, Lightning, and Rain, A Collection of Crashes, Drips, and Splashes. Now this is from Disneyland. It's a Disneyland recording. I just want to read this. It says, the sound effects department of the Walt Disney Studio had been collecting all kinds of noises since 1927. The first sound film which Walt Disney made, and the first sound cartoon made by anyone, was Steamboat Willie, starring a little mouse named Mickey. So what is this saying? Well, I guess it takes a long time to gather, right? And then to put something out there. And if you think about, for instance, like Mickey Mouse, right? Think about how many people know what that is now. Do you know what I mean? And it's all because someone was like, I want to do that. Now, does that mean that every idea becomes world-renowned and successful in that way? No, but I guess the effort prior really mattered. And you do need to know well, I want to make sure I say this right. Let's look at your card and then we'll go back into that. Is that a spider? No. Aries. Oh yeah, okay. You have to know when to give and put time into something and when to not give, right? Be like, okay, that isn't a good idea. I don't want to put any more money into that, you know? And I know sometimes it's hard to find the balance, right? Of when to keep going and when to backtrack a little bit. Okay, so if you turn something around, you'll be able to see something that you didn't see before. It's almost like an alternative perspective. Maybe you need someone else's opinion or just to talk about it a little bit, to be like, hey, like, I've been doing this. What do you think about that? And someone might ask you a good question that you weren't aware of. Do you know what I mean? I see that you have help here. If there is something, you know, chilling, thrilling sounds of the haunted house, like if there is something you're a little bit scared of, you know, sometimes it's something's a little shocking. But this is meant to be fun though, you know, but everybody finds certain things like acceptable or not. And I would say there's something, I guess there could be something with home here too. That's really important. You want to make sure that that's a healthy place. You know, if something's been abandoned for a long time, then there's going to be more decay, right? Or more to be done to make it what you want. But then you also have to figure out what is enough, like what is the value of something, or because I actually see that you have everything that you need to be able to do what you want in this time, but there could be, for some of you, a fear about something where you're like, I don't know, like, and so you want to address those and try to address them in a logical way. You know what I mean? Or find a logical friend that you know, or a coworker or whatever, or talk to your boss or whoever it is. Like, just be like, look, I'm concerned about this, and da-da-da, and then see what the situation is. You have a lot more help than some of you may feel like you do. You have to trust here. And so I guess because with trust, you have to not have fear to be able to trust your intuition, right? I mean, sometimes fear can help us, but we have to know a little bit of a balance of where something is coming from, and then what the alternative would be. Say if you're like, okay, well, I'm going to do this. I want to do this, but it's going to take that to do it. And I guess with the whole Mickey Mouse thing that we mentioned earlier, it's like, I would assume there wasn't a expectation that this was going to be something so great. It was kind of just like, I want to do this. I want to collect all these weird sounds, and I want to draw Steamboat Willie. You know, like, I got an idea for Steamboat Willie, and then it became something else. Do you know what I mean? So I guess not exactly like low expectations, but do it because you... I mean, I would assume back then, too, Walt Disney must have had a regular job. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like, I'm going to, you know, a frivolous idea. Huh. Very interesting, Aries. Alright, just a second. 42. We'll do 4240. I need a second. Or we're going to Cancer. You ready? Cancer. Oh, lovely. So you have Arlo Guthrie. That's your album. One Night. So your songs, and they're playing with Shenandoah. So side A is One Night, I Just Seen a Face, Tennessee Stud, Anytime, Little Beggar Man, in the key of A, and the last song on the side B is Last Night I Had the Strangest Dream. Oh, there's a lot of appreciation on this album. It says who's starring, who's co-starring, introducing new people, featuring other people, and special guest appearances. They also give a lot of credit to who recorded it and who remixed it, and the art direction, photography, hand lettering. It's also in Raleigh, North Carolina. What year is this? 1978. So the way I'm seeing this with all the people is appreciation, right? Like, who's starring in your life right now, right? Like, who are your main players that you play with all the time in your life band, you know, and who comes in and, like, plays the fiddle once in a while, right? Who's a new person? You know, if you haven't had a new person come into your life yet, maybe you want to ask for that. You know, who are your special guest appearances? I see this as like traveling friends or something like that. And then the recording, the remixing, the art direction, photography. I guess this is kind of like people in your circle, like, you know, the woman that works at the gas station, or, you know, the man that fixes, you know, that gives you an oil change. Like, what are their names? You know, who are they? They're a part of your circle, you know? Maybe that can help you to realize that you have a bigger community than you think that you do. Or, you know, but it's not like where, you know, everybody can be in this huge orchestra playing together all at the same time. Because in that way, I guess it gets lost and of who's playing what, you know. Let's see your card, Cancer. Oh, awesome. Okay, so there's a lot of confidence here. This is a really strong male energy, too. Very confident. Fire energy. So this is a kind of energy that's like, oh, I'm really strong. And then it's like someone retracting and acting sort of insecure. This is definitely decisive. This is decisive energy. It's this person is observant. Like they know things that other people don't know. Who do you learn from? You know, where you're like, hey, what's that? You know, like, what are those berries? Or what's that plant? Or what does this go to? Or how does that work? Or how do I find this? Who do you ask questions? I'm seeing that term, what's it called? Johnny on the spot. Like the friends where you can just be like, hey, like, what, again, like, who do you call or talk to where you can ask questions? And I guess you want to see that as, well, again, a part of your community. Maybe you want to strengthen those places a little bit more or expand. And remember that it's kind of, I see a rubber band. It's kind of like, all right, in and out. Like, if it's too much all the time of one thing, like, again, an orchestra all together, it's going to seem too much. So you want to make sure that you're not spreading yourself too thin either. Remember who's starring in your life, right? Who's in your band right now? And then, of course, make sure that since you're in the band, it's not your band, but like whoever's in the band, you as a player has to practice your instrument too by yourself, right? Come up with new things so that when you come together, you're like, hey, I came up with this new riff, or like, listen, what do you think about this bass line? Or, you know, I have this idea for the next album, you know, something like that. Huh. Okay. 4820. I'm going to split this up. Be right back. Okay. Scorpio. Let's see your album. You have an album and a card if you skipped ahead. What's your album? Oh. You and Pisces both got a good laugh. Alright, so you received Changes. I haven't listened to this album yet, but I'm going to, and I'm pretty excited about it. It's actually called 8th Street Productions, which is ESP. So that's about having extra sensory perception, right? Changes. So what's cool about this, I don't know, can you see the, well, let's look at these two. If you can see. And then these two. So what's cool about this album is, there are different kinds of music. So they have, like, country songs. They have sort of 1920s, like, zoot suit kind of music, and then sort of traditional, and then there's like 70s kind of disco in there. So this shows diversity, right? Diversity and ability. your ability to change, you know, your ability to be like, oh, I'm not just this one thing. I can be anything, right? And you can kind of switch from one to the other because you have practiced these different kinds of being. Oh, did you see this cool drink I found in the mountains of Virginia, West Virginia? Little Death. Look at that skull. It's kind of ridiculous. It looked like a Mickey's, so I bought it, but it's just water. This one's called Severed Lime. I'm not sharing to be like, this is a company. I just thought it was interesting. As soon as I saw it, I was like, that's so Scorpio. And it's delicious, actually. So, changes. Let's see your songs. We will be. Let me say this about that. Oh, then it gets a little sad. Okay, so then we change, right? We will be. Let me say this about that. Then it's you've lost that love and feeling. And then I ain't got nobody. I ain't got nobody. Nobody. So that's Day of the Eagle. Ooh, yes. Okay. Then it turns into City, Country, City, White Rabbit, Nature's Way, Rockin' Robin, Seesaw. Oh, the seasons are changing. The leaves are starting to fall from the trees. I love it. And then Looking for Love. I heard looking for love in all the wrong places. Remember when you used to do that? So this was recorded in Maynard, like Maynard from Tool, Maynard, Massachusetts. And they must have really liked Mickey for it, because they made a stencil of his face. Really appreciated him. Apparently, he was. He said that they said that he was their light. Assumi, stop. Oh, I'm getting too loud. That's why. Sorry. It's okay, baby. He said that they were there. Who's your light in your life right now, Scorpio? Let's see your card. Okay. You know in Alice in Wonderland when she meets the caterpillar on top of the mushroom and he's like, "Who are you? Who are you?" Changes. I guess remember that you are a very versatile energy. You know what I mean? Sometimes you're as timid as a mouse. Sometimes you're as, lethal as a viper. Sometimes you're a little lizard bathing in the sun, You have all of these qualities, and it's not, even when a person builds into stronger places, even in one day, a person can feel like a little timid mouse or as angry as a viper. But it's about understanding like when that's coming on through your animal instinct, and then realizing that you can shapeshift into any animal that you want, and the one that you want the most that's helpful to you is probably the eagle, because it doesn't have any enemies, so it doesn't ever feel threatened. But because it's so high above something, it's coming back down and then being the snake where you're grounded. Okay, so if you're wondering if you're good enough, yes, you are. Even those parts that are small. You know what I mean? That's probably part of, because you're so powerful, it's probably part of your way of humbling. Do you know what I mean? We all have to fall down and skin our knees, I'll actually show you this card. So you receive the Seven of Clubs. And this mountain here is reminding me. I'll tell you a little story. So I went on a journey recently because I had to deal with some family stuff and take a break, and I really needed that. Just changing like the day-to-day to something different was really helpful. But I decided, because I knew I was uncomfortable like going too fast. So I was like, I don't want to take the major highways. I want to take a off-road, right? And I was like, oh, I'll go through the mountains. You know, that'll be fun. Like, I'll go through the hills, no big deal. Well, I'd never gone this way before, and I ended up going through these mountains that were so intense. And I would go, as I'm going up the mountain, I'm like, oh my God, am I going to make it up this mountain? I'd be like, I think I can. And like trying to maneuver up and around all these things. And then it was like this quick shifts between confidence and total insecurity. And then I'd finally get to the top, get to the brink of it, the peak of it. And then I'd have to go down. And then it's almost like, oh my God, like, this is so steep, and I guess life does that sometimes. It tests us, right? Like, do you have the ability to go? How do you work the response to your ability to go and to move up into new places, up and around things, right? Because you got to maneuver. And then how is it that you respond to your ability to be able to slow as you're going down and around things, right? And if you just remember through your life experience that and as you go along, you will become better at it. And I think sometimes being afraid or feeling small or scared can actually be something that once you get out of it, right, you get past something, you're like, oh my God, I did it. And once you do it, you're like, wow, you feel better about yourself. You feel better about what you can do and your ability. You had a reading a really long time ago, like 5 years ago, that was called Responsibility, your response to your ability. Okay? So remember that you're in charge of the change, how those changes work. Okay. Love you. Aquarius. We'll do 9:30 or plus 9:30. Okay, Aquarius. Oh, nice. I'm really excited about this album too. You received Emerald. It's Spencer Brewer, Nancy Rumbel, Rumbel, and Eric Tingstad. I did pick this album because I like the cover. I liked it as soon as I saw it, I was like, ooh, that looks so beautiful. I wanna have this close to me. It drew me in. This green too is such like good spring colors, like good heart chakra. So the songs here are beautiful too. The Fisherman's Dream, Shadow Dancer, The Last Snow Leopard, Timeless Reunion, and Dream Gift are side one. Cinderella is the last song on the B-side. When was this recorded? 1986 at Granny's house in Reno, Nevada. Huh. I'm assuming this is just instrumental too. Fisherman's Dream, that's why I picked it. Fisherman's Dream in the green. Let's see your card, Aquarius. Okay. So emerald is mercury stone, right? It's about clear thinking. Let's see, what do I see? Okay, so what are some things that you're in the middle of? What are three things that you can... What are three things that you need to accomplish before this season is over, right? Like over the next couple weeks before this season shifts, what are three things that you need to do, you know? So that you're prepared for the next season. I feel like there were three sort of simple things, like, oh, I got to do this, this, that. And then I feel like there were three things that are kind of hard, like maybe you need someone else's help for them. So a list to-dos could be very helpful for you. You have a few questions here, Aquarius. What are three problems you have right now? Like three issues that you're dealing with. It could be internal or external. What are three things that are challenging right now? What is a solution for each one of those? You know? Like, okay, I have this, I'm dealing with this. All right, well, what would be a solution for that? And if you want to be creative, I suppose this number 3 is strong. You could come up with 3 solutions for each one of your problems. You know, like 3 different ways for it to be handled. Or things that you could do to make it a little bit easier. Because there's something here where, like, you can't see the whole picture yet. It's like something hasn't fully formed. You need more information, or you need other parts to see the full thing. See, this is one where I want to pick another card. Like, I want to, in this very moment, I want to be like, I want the answer to what what the next step would be. But I guess you as an individual have to come up with that for yourself. For some of you, this could have to do with work. I guess it's a good question too. In ways of your job, like, how do you feel about your job right now? Do you feel good about it? Do you feel, you know, sometimes it's natural for people to not like their job, or it's frustrating. So if that's the case, what would be a solution for that, right? How to ease up on it, or who do you need to talk to, or do you need other people, something like this. Some of you could also be distracted with something. And there is a pathway between... There's a pathway between the frustration, but maybe there needs to be a little bit of time with something too. But it's a narrow path. It's a narrow path. Let's do 1530 for Taurus. Taurus, let's see. So we have an album and a card. Let's see your album, Taurus. Oh, we have Bessie Smith. Love her. Bessie Smith. Pretty excited about this. It's with James P. Johnson and Charlie Green. These are all recorded in the late 20s, early 30s. So... Oh, this also has Shipwreck Blues. Who talked about that? Aries. Aries had the word shipwreck in theirs. That could be something that you could reference. Okay. Bessie Smith was really a one of a kind, right? Such a power to her voice, she didn't limit herself or even ultimately define herself by her external world, like what she looked like and all that kind of thing. It was about people know her, who she is, by what she shared. Do you know what I mean? Like, who had the communication to? Pisces. Pisces talked about communication. Let's see your card, Taurus. Okay, Aquarius will be helpful for you. That'll come, your card connects to theirs. Let me try to read this correctly, Taurus. Okay, so this is about friendship. It's about communication. Again. Let me give you some dates. February 17th, February 17th, August 20th, October 11th, June 9th, March 3rd, March 20th, and again June 11th. Huh. I don't know that bird. So, again, Pisces, Aquarius will be helpful. They're neighbors, right? So, oh, I really want another card on this, but we have to work with what we have, right? That's really important. That was the intention, so we're going to stick to what we said we were going to do. But almost for you sometimes, I feel like Taurus energy, that steadfast energy, sometimes you have to switch it up, right? That's one of your lessons. Oops. Is to, once you, oh, I already have another card. I forgot. I picked an extra card already, so that's all right. It's already here. Okay. So, Capricorn. There's a masculine-feminine dynamic here, too. Okay, so when you're having a hard time, how do you communicate that? How do you feel like you soothe other people? How do you also, this also talks about a balance between, okay, your siblings, if you have them. If you don't, this would be people that you're like your friends, that are like your sisters or brothers. There's something here about the combination or separation between like someone wants someone to be more practical. My head feels hot. Is that Aries? Taurus. Let me tune in a second. For some reason it's like not want. It doesn't want me to like go in here, but I'd like to share a message. Okay, so you know what something is. Something's already been communicated. I guess what the message is for you to watch Pisces and Aquarius and whatever else we said. And some Bessie Smith could be helpful too. Okay? We'll do it. Okay. Let's see. Last but not least, Leo. Let's see your album. So we have an album and a card. Ooh, you got Jerry Lee Lewis, Old Time Country Music. When was this recorded? It was recorded in Nashville, Tennessee. It's got a lifetime guarantee. Oh, that's nice. It's on Sun Records. That's great. That was a cool album. Johnny Cash and everybody was on that. Alright, All Around the Water Tank. Carry Me Back to Old Virginia. John Henry. Old Black Joe. My Blue Heaven. You're the Only Star in My Blue Heaven. The Crawdad Song. Hand Me Down My Walking Cane. You Are My Sunshine. If the World Keeps On. And Deep Ellum Blues. This album is also available in 8-track stereo. So it doesn't say when it was recorded. Interesting. Must be a reprint. Look at that granny. And there's a man down here looking at him with such adoration too. Like in his expression or performance or what he's doing. Someone's like, wow, you're doing such a good job. This is also something that's like non-offensive, right? The old and the young can listen to it. It's or connect with it. Maybe it's music, too, that your grandparents would listen to or something like that, your parents. Let's see your card. All right. I like this card. Okay. So this, I see it. There's a happy person here. I like that. Very positive. If there's anything off, you just got to flip it around. Maybe you want to talk to somebody that you care about, one of your friends or something like that could help you. Let's see. There could also be someone that finds you very, like the image on the back here, like there are definitely people that find you attractive or like they're attracted to you. So if you're trying to connect with others, or if you're wondering if you're doing a good job or what have you, yes, you're doing great. You don't remember, one of the best ways to be accepted is to accept yourself. And to love life. Don't give up on love romantically either. Maybe that's something where some of you, it would be helpful to go on a date, or do something a little more lighthearted. You know, maybe you need to go dancing, you know, or go to like some live music. You know, switch it up, or, I mean, you can just have a dance party in the kitchen, you know. But, something fun. I also see your ancestors or your family being proud of you, too, for what you've done. Your skills that you have, too. What, who did you get those from, out of curiosity? Do you know, like, maybe I'm seeing the word genealogy, like maybe there's some... Maybe some of you research more and realize more about, have more faith and love through looking into the dedication of your family. Huh. Okay. I don't mean to cut that short if it feels like that, but I think I exhausted my energy, and the sun's coming out too, so I want to relax. Thank you, Leo, so you get all the extra bits. Well, you are the heart of the zodiac, right? So thanks. Yeah, I hope you have a wonderful now. And thank you so very much. One second, I'm going to make a note. Thank you so very much for being a part of this space. It's always a pleasure to be able to connect with you and create in this space together. And thank you for being patient. When I took that space, I really needed that. I really needed that. And see what we can do. You know, sometimes the test is, what can we do on our own? And then sometimes the test is, are we being too stubborn and doing everything on our own? You know, it's finding more of a balance of these is healthy, you know. And we all need to change, you know, try new things. Okay, love you so much. And if you are interested in, if you are new here, there's also a Patreon page that you can check out. It's listed below. Okay, talk to you later. Peace.